the President of the United States, Donald Trump.
I forgot about this. Here we go.
CBS News reported on Tuesday night that Donald Trump intends to sign an executive order, quote, in coming days, establishing national standards for the NCAA's name, image, and likeness program. Now, there's a lot going on with this. Like Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, got asked about this morning, and Sankey's like, the NCAA doesn't have a name, image, and likeness program. So we don't know what, if anything, Donald Trump is going to do. We talked to somebody, Aria, you and I talked to somebody recently who said that Trump was going to do something in June related to college sports, and then the U.S. bombed Iran, and obviously that took a backseat and they pushed it. So perhaps this is that thing. I don't know, but what would you put in your executive order?
Why don't you start with this? I have no idea.
I don't either. Pete Nakos and I have been on texting all morning trying to figure out what's going on, because even the usual suspects who've been involved in a lot of the push for a congressional bill and all that don't know what this is. Don't know what they're planning. So, you could do something like this. I was assuming it'll be something the schools want, like athletes can't be employees. Like the schools want Congress to make a law saying athletes can't be employees. Donald Trump could issue an executive order theoretically saying that.
In what's the goal of this? Is the goal to help the schools or the athletes?
The schools, for sure.
So that would be probably the number.
No,
one.
this will be about helping the man, not about.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would probably be the number one thing then, right?
That's what I would think. Now, I don't think that changes much, because you could even still do collective bargaining if the players are contractors. Like that, even if you forbid them from being W-2 employees that get benefits and that can get workers' compensation, like you could still do CBAs. Like think about all the jobs in Hollywood, like when the Writers Guild goes on strike and that sort of thing. They're contractors, but they have CBAs. So you could still, like what Mike Gundy said to us last week, where he's like, you got to collectively bargain. You could probably still do that, even if they're not W-2 employees.
Is there an executive order that the president could sign that could allow the clearinghouse NIL system to actually work without being sued?
Not without being sued, because it's just an executive order. Like, I don't think he can give them an antitrust exemption through an executive order. Maybe he can. I mean, he can do anything. He can put out any executive order he wants, but I feel like Greg Sankey the other day talking about the bill on Capitol Hill and Schoolhouse Rock. There was no Schoolhouse Rock on executive orders, but I believe Schoolhouse Rock covered checks and balances.
Andy,
the judicial branch can check an executive order, and you're seeing that with various executive orders that have to do with other things.
He's issued more executive orders himself than like the previous 20 presidents combined, right?
Right. So
how are they
telling
working?
what he's going to say.
Working?
You can challenge it in court. The court can overturn it, or the court could uphold it. So, like, I don't know. Personally, me, if I were issuing one executive order for college football, it would be immediately changing the rule that you're down once you hit the ground, even if nobody's touched you.
Mine would be...
You should be able to get up and run until someone touches you.
Mine would do something with targeting, I think.
You would define targeting?
It's a hard thing. I think I would make it so that a player doesn't miss extended period of time unless it is his head is down and the first contact is with the crown of the helmet. Like I don't think
okay with that.
Someone too hard is targeting.
Yeah, I do think that they've gotten a little lost in the sauce on that one.
Yeah.
As far as the NIL stuff, I just don't know. There's nothing he can say that's going to restrict athlete money that won't get challenged in court. So he can issue an order and the schools can say we're going to abide by it, but immediately the lawyers will get cranked up. Like that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
more government involvement equals more Ari being clueless. But it
also equals more of billable hours remaining undefeated. Like that's really the thing here. Unless there's a law that gets passed, which there is a bill in the House of Representatives that actually might get out of committee.
I just wish that we could just arrive at the place where the players can make an unlimited amount of money while also being fair to everybody and everybody playing by the same rules.
There's a way to do it. If only there were 5 examples in the United States of sports leagues that have very firm rules that they've negotiated with their players.
Yeah.
If only there were examples.
Yeah. I also just feel like corralling 32 teams is so much easier than 132.
It's really not, though. I mean, those are billionaires you're dealing with. The 32.
Yeah.
It's the schools have to accept that they can't control everything and they can't unilaterally impose things on the players. Once they accept that, they can figure it out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I think, though, if he were to say they can't be employees, I think schools would love that. And
well, you're Mr.
I don't know that would change much for like the best football players and basketball players.
Yeah. You're Mr. Know things about politics, right? Mr. Know everything about everything.
I don't know anything about it.
I don't know if this is true, but Nerf in the chat says Trump had 220 executive orders in his first term, and he's already up to 175 this term. Of the 175 executive orders that he's passed in this term, what percentage of those have actually gone into law or gone into effect?
Well, they haven't gone into law. They're executive orders.
Or gone into effect.
All of them. But then some of them have been challenged.
How many of them have been challenged and passed? Like I don't understand.
You mean challenged and overturned?
Or overturned.
They're already passed when he signs them.
No, that's the whole point. If he says from now on, every building in downtown America is going to be painted purple in an executive order. Mm-hmm. How many of them actually became purple? That's the only way that I can explain it.
Well, right, but that's there. Each individual one we'd have to take individually, and that would take too long. And this is not that kind of show.
I don't know like what the success rate is. That's
well, there's a couple things there. You can just not paint it purple and see what happens. You can sue and say I refuse to paint it purple. You can just paint it purple. Like all of those things are options at that point.
Okay. Yeah, I realize I'm barking down a topic that's very complicated, but it's just like whenever I hear president to sign executive order, I never really know in theory what that means in terms of application. That's all.
Well, and that's the thing. They don't necessarily either. It's up to their willingness to enforce the order, and then it's also will the judiciary overturn the order if it's fought in court.
So AI 29% are currently being challenged. Okay.
Yeah.
And this one would certainly fall into that 29%.
And it would have to be unconstitutional to be overturned. So I mean that's the thing. We'll see. I guarantee you lawyers will make money off of this. No matter what he does.
Yeah.
Unless it's mine. Unless he says if you fall down and no defender has touched you, you can get up and keep running. I don't think anybody's going to fight that one.
Yeah. Why do they do that?
I don't know, but they need to stop it.
What do you think about the 1 foot down is a catch rule?
I like that. I'm fine. I want more catches. NFL players are better than college players in general. So giving them a higher standard for catches is fine.
Okay.
I would like more cool sideline catches and the 1 foot down.
What about fumbling into the end zone?
No, I actually am fine with that.
Okay.
I like the gut punch aspect of that. Like you still have to do everything right.
It's almost as if the other team scored when that happens. Okay, what about the new clock rules?
Don't care. Fine with them. They don't really bother me.
What about the 2-minute warning?
Don't care.
Don't care. What about some of the substitution rules?
You mean like with the faking injuries?
Yeah.
I think the idea they have that you have to fall down before the ball gets spotted is a kind of creative solution. I think coaches are very creative and they'll figure out a way to fake injuries around that.
I'm trying to think of like recruiting rules, but there are none of those anymore.
Yeah, I say they're none.
Don't you think that
maybe he'll establish some. Who knows?
That, like recruiting should just be 24/7, 365 and just like let it go. It's almost like letting steroids into baseball.
Well, I always said, and I wrote this at SI in 2008, instead of just having a national signing day, like the moment somebody sets foot in high school, you can sign them to a letter of intent. But that means that scholarship's gone. You've committed it. Now, this is different now because you have situations where people sign. Like Oregon had 2 people who signed with them last year that ended up just leaving for somewhere else.
Yeah.
Before they ever went to spring practice, and they went to spring practice at their new schools. The freshman quarterback at Cal and Dallas Wilson at Florida.
Did Billy Bowman sign without dating it or something? And it was not. Was that Billy Bowman? Who was it that signed the form and didn't date it right?
We never had to actually sign the letter of intent. Like Roquan Smith showed you that, but there were basketball players who weren't signing it already. Roquan Smith, for those who don't remember, he does his signing ceremony, announces that he's going to UCLA. His phone was off. His coach's phone was off. For the previous hour, everybody had been trying to get in touch with him saying, hey, UCLA's defensive coordinator is going to the Falcons.
Peyton Bowen.
You should probably... What's that?
So it was Peyton Bowen, not Billy Bowman.
Oh, Peyton Bowen, yes. Yeah. But with Roquan Smith, he finds out between announcing for UCLA and actually signing anything and sending it in that the defensive coordinator has gone to the Falcons. By the way, I think it's the same DC whose son prank called everybody at the draft.
Oh, yeah.
So now he had been with the Jets and now he's back with the Falcons. But yeah, so Roquan Smith finds this out and is like, well, I'm not going to UCLA now. And then everybody's like, okay, who are you going to sign with? He's like, I'm not signing with anybody. I'll tell you where I'm going, but you're just going to have to trust me on that.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He committed to Georgia after that, and he did show up at Georgia.
Turned out to be pretty good, too.